Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Last Mag podcast. I'm your host, Primal, and in today's episode, guys, bit of a late upload. It's going to be tonight. I've been doing some spreadsheet analyzation for grand finals, as well as seeing the stats for the players throughout grand finals. So let's break down grand finals, see what happened, and get into it. So, guys, thank you so much for all love and support on channel. You guys have been absolutely popping off the channel with the champs video. I do apologize for not having the World War II grand finals championship winning moment. I've been trying to figure out where it is so I can get it for next time. But I appreciate everybody who's supported the channel and liked and subscribed too, as well as liking the videos. You guys are amazing, and let's crack on into it. So starting off, this was a best of 9 grand finals. We only went to 7 maps. We started off map 1 on Colossus Hardpoint. So let me get to the screenshots. So map 1, OpTic came out swinging on the Colossus Hardpoint. However, Abuza set the tone for how the grand finals was going. He came out with a 1.17 against OpTic Texas, whose best player came out with a 1.13 Mercules. As you can see here, well, at the end, I'll give who I felt deserved the MVP more in what the major controversy was, and I'm going to talk about the teams overall at the end, so stay tuned for that, because I'm not going to say this and this happened for this player, but I'll give my over analytical thoughts about that in a little bit. So, yeah, overall tight game. FaZe definitely could have won this. I felt like there were a couple moments where map 1 was a little mixy and I was losing full a little. But overall, OpTic, they come out, take map 1. It's like, okay, first map, breathe, boys, no worries. And I just want to say, your boy predicted correctly for champ, so yo, let's go. And the lowest player in, it's like the lowest person for kills to death was Hook, who had a .83 on the map for map 1. So, alright, let's crack into map 2. So, let me tell you guys, all the search and destroys, they all go to round 11. So we have, out of 4 search and destroys, we have 3 of them literally go to round 11. And FaZe take it by the chinny chin chin and clutch up when it's needed, I will say. So, so the two main slayers for map 2 were definitely 04 and Mercules. They both drop a 1.7 in the map, and the one person that didn't basically diddly bupkis was Dashy on raid. Like, when you think Dashy in search, you think aimbot Dashy. It's like Dashy was 1, as you can see, it was 1 and 8. It was abysmal what he was doing on map. Like, he could not get a kill to save his life. Like, the damage was high, but he just couldn't do diddly bupkis. So, FaZe tie up the series 1-1, and it then goes into a Scar overload. And there were only 2 overloads ever played out of 3. And this is where we got to see Abuza. Now, let me swipe up. Sorry, I forgot to swipe to the next screenshot. Now, Abuza, literally, my God, he popped off with the most insane. He was beyond disgusting, chat. Like as you can see in scoreboard, 42-20 against OpTic. OpTic of all teams. Like he was unkillable. Like he led with the most kills, most best KD in the whole lobby, and the most damage in the lobby as well, with over 46,000 damage. He had a 2.1 KD. The person who came close to on his team was Straza with a 1.39, and on the other side, it's like the person who even came close to trying to get over a 1.0 was Hook, and the lowest person was Mark with a 0.7. Yeah, overall, absolute banger, and that feel of Abuza feeling himself on Scar Overload transitions us to Scar Hardpoint. Now, this, ladies and gentlemen, this was an absolute smoke show. FaZe were up on their rotations. They were making the right kills. They were making the right calls. Abuza and 04 matched kill-wise. However, it was Draza with the most kills and led with damage in the lobby with 39 kills, 26 deaths, over 4,800 damage. Only 24 seconds of heal time, but he was putting presence out on the map, and it felt like OpTic was literally asleep at the wheel. Like they couldn't do anything because Shotzi had a 0.75 of a map. And that's something you don't see from Shotzi real often. Like, you don't see him almost double negative. Like, that was absolute madness. And that just goes to show you what FaZe came out to do there and then. Also, we will discuss the Challengers Grand Finals as well. I'm just reading my notes now. Now, that takes us to a Den Search and Destroy. So, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. And again, this was a ridiculous map. We go round 11, 2v4, 4 members of OpTic against 2 members of FaZe. And my good gravy, Batman, they pull off the ridiculous 2v4 clutch. And I'm just sitting here, jaw hanging open, like, what did we just witness? Like, oh my gosh. Simp with a 2.3, and he definitely led the lobby for kills, for pacing, it felt like. And again, but in this case, Mercury's 3-11, and he had a 2.7 KD on that map. Like, he couldn't get anything going. It's like the savior and legacy person for the team wasn't putting up. The best person who even tried to do anything was Shotzi, who had 8 kills on map, with a 0.72. Oh no, sorry. It was Dashy with a 0.87. My bad. I misread that. Let me double check something quickly, chat. 7 and 8. 8 and 11. Okay, yeah, sorry. I just wanted to double check my calculations. And so at this point, FaZe is up 4-1 against OpTic. I'm like, oh my gosh, FaZe is about to literally speedrun OpTic with ripping 5 maps off them after OpTic takes map 1. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be an early to bed series. But nope, OpTic came out to play, ladies and gentlemen. And honestly, The only reason why FaZe got the 3 is because OpTic knew they would win the series. Well, not series, map, because it was a 4-2. They didn't stop Simp from putting in that third um one, but I will say, chat. Um, Looking at the KDs, Hook and Shotzi, first time positive all season, all series long. So yeah, definitely interesting seeing that the only time they were, oh my bad. Um, yeah, it's like the only time you saw the SMGs really positive were in two maps, map 6 and map 7, which I will talk about in a second. Um, and on the opposite side, the worst player on the team was Simp, who had a .59. And honestly, that is something you are not really going to see from Simp. Like, that was the worst stinker map I had ever seen from Simp. Draza in 04 had not Draza. Abuza had a 1.23 and 04 had a 1.29 and Draza had a .96. And oh, sorry, my bad. And Dashi finally positive all series long, but for only one map, who had a 1.17, and Merc had a .78 for the Den overload. So 3 out of 4 of the OpTic members going positive, Merc negative, and at that point he had been on a double map negative loss streak, and it just felt like it's like after map 6 I thought, okay, FaZe, take a breather, you're in the driver's seat, you know what's going on, you know how to get that last map needed win. Now let's talk about the final map, ladies and gentlemen, which was a Hasi search and destroy. Now, as you can see here, Abuza gets the final kill in the map 7. They didn't really show a scoreboard just because afterwards it was all celebrations and stuff. So, OpTic was leading in a 5. I think it was a 5-3 or 5-4. No, yeah. It was a 5-3 in FaZe rip 3 off to get the win. Yeah. Honestly, when I was seeing OpTic on Hottie, I was like, oh my gosh, we're whiffing, chat. I was starting to panic a little, thinking, OpTic's getting alive again. So for KD's, Hook had a 1.5, Shotzi had a 1.25, and then your ARs, Merc and Dashi had, with Merc with a 0.62 and Dashi with a 0.37. Now on the opposite side, Simp had a 0.85, Abuza had a 0.62, 04 with a 1.28, and Draza with a 1.5. Honestly, this series was absolutely incredible start to end, and I will say there was definitely audience cheese when Abuza started to defuse, and when you hear the comms on the CDL website, not website, on channel saying, and they're like, oh, they're going to use crowd cheese to know when you're defusing. Well, they used that to their advantage to get that round 11 win. So smart play out of them, using the audience to their advantage, but there was definitely some cheesiness to it. Other things I wanted to mention, there were 2 PC changes. Sorry. On the OpTic side through the grand finals. Now, if you guys haven't heard what Moistini and I talked about on Saturday night, go check out that podcast episode. We did talk about the CDL, we talked about matches, and we just talked about COD in general. So make sure you guys go check that out. Show Moistini some love from the Primal EV Empire. I really appreciate it. But overall, absolute banger of a series from start to end. Simp, third ring, named MVP for series. First ring for Abuza, first ring for 04, second ring for Draza. Now, let's talk about the MVP. Honestly, oh well, hold on a sec. Before we talk about MVP, so kills to death ratio overall, Hook had a .86, Shotzi had a .83, Merc also had a .86, and Dashi with a .82. Simp had a 1.06, Booza had a 1.3, 04 was a 1.17, and Draza was a 1.18. Honestly, I would have given Abuza deserved the MVP overall, chat. Hands down, he deserved the MVP. If they were going off the search and destroys, yeah, Simp had better KDs over Abuza with Simp's 1.3, 2.3, and .85. But Abuza was pulling out the clutches, especially on the Scars and on the Hasi, to seal the deal for a championship. Like, I feel like that's overlooked. Like, Abuza should have gotten that MVP status because of how he played, how he literally carried his team to victory. Now, I will say each of them definitely had takeover maps and maps to push the team to victory, I will say. Overall, it just felt like Abuza deserved it more, but I'm just happy that FaZe got their second world championship under their belt going into the MW4 season coming up. And let's quickly talk about that. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. I want to cover the Challengers finals. So we have Omit versus P7 Notorious. Now, if you guys haven't watched the Challengers series or know about Challengers, Omit, they won the 2025 World Championship. They get back to Grand Finals, so this is back-to-back Challengers Grand Championships for them. They rip 3 maps in a row off P7, and then P7 comes and rips 3 of their own. It goes all the way to Game 7 because Challengers only does 7 maps instead of 9. It goes to Hasi round 11, and Omit wins it. Now, I want to say it was a well-fought fight overall, but it felt like at times the Omit team was whiffing significantly. So, hang on a sec. Alright, overall, it felt like the Omit team definitely was whiffing, but in the overloads, I forget what the overload was. Yeah, it was the overload gridlock, I'm positive. It was a 7-4 win for them, and it was dominant, like lights out. Did P7 make a bit of a threat to them on the map? Sure. But Omid felt like they were in charge, and they showed why they deserved that championship. So, yep. Okay, so EWC. Let's talk about that. So, EWC will be August 6th. No, sorry. It'll be the week of August 9th. So, and it'll also be in Paris. So, the boys will be back there, and it'll be the final event of the season, and only 12 teams from CDL are allowed in 4 challengers. Top 3 at Challengers Champs automatically qualify, and there's one last team that can try and make the cutoff. So, yeah. Going to be interesting. I definitely will be doing my predictions going into that following probably like next week or before, like on the 4th or 5th, maybe. I'll let you guys know. But yeah. Okay, PCs issues during champs. Honestly, I think the CDL needs to invest in new PCs and just make sure everything is running as smoothly as possible. Like seriously, guys. From what I've understood, the PCs are Overwatch PCs from the Overwatch League, so it's definitely time to upgrade them, my guy. So, yep, that is going to cover my champs thoughts. OpTic definitely suffering from that loss for sure. Let me know what your guys' thoughts were on champs, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.